Hey everyone, CuteMimi25 here. I wanted to make a video on, well, 5 Nicktoons, which are basically Nickelodeon cartoons, or cartoons that aired on Nickelodeon where I'm at, that, well, didn't really get a long-lasting run on Nickelodeon or the Nicktoons channel, and this is my top 5 list on 5 Nickelodeon cartoons that deserved a longer run. In my opinion. If you agree with me, good. If you think another show deserves that longer run, well, feel free to message me underneath. But this is my top 5 list. I feel like these 5 shows were given the short straw and they basically say, we don't want to focus on you anymore. We're going to focus on SpongeBob and we're going to shove you over to the Nicktoons channel. And then next thing you know, the show gets canceled. And I feel like these 5 shows deserved longer runs. So let's get on with the top 5 Nicktoons that deserve longer runs, in my opinion. Number 5 goes to the X's. What's this show about? Simple. You got a family that likes to kick butt and do certain things. The show debuted in 2005. Around the same time, another show debuted. However, this show only lasted 20 episodes and only 1 season. You've got the main characters. You've got Mr. X, Mrs. X, Tuesday, and Truman. And they also adopt a dog after the first 4 episodes. I really like this show. It got some really good action, funny moments, and, well, a really good cast on the show. I mean, you got Patrick Warburton playing Mr. X. You've got Lindsay Bartelson playing Tuesday X. Jansen Pantier, I can't even pronounce his name. Jansen Pantier, hopefully I'm pronouncing that name right, playing Truman. And, of course, Mrs. X, played by Wendy Malick. And get this, the villain Glowface was played by Chris Hardwick from Singled Out and that game show The Wall. The more you know. Oh, and I can't forget about Home Base, one of my favorite characters. Who played Home Base? Let me think for a moment. Home Base was played by... Oh yeah, Stephen Root. Sorry about that. I had to think about it. But anyway, the X is number 5 on the list. Of the 5 shows, this one sticks out, well, compared to the other 4. I mean, I miss this show. I think it deserved a longer run. It had a really good plot line. Also, the weird thing is, on some episodes, Tuesday's hair changes color to purple, blue. Most of the time it's green. Not sure why, but only they know on the show. Number 4 goes to 44 Cats, a show that I think deserved a longer run than just 2 seasons. What's the show about? It's about the 4 main cats named Lampo, Milady, Pilou, and Meatball. They go on adventures, they do what they can to help their friends, look after their owner, or vice versa, and make sure that their neighbor, who hates them, doesn't do anything mischievous. The neighbor's name is Winston, if anyone's wondering, and he has those guard dogs that like to get on their nerves. And also, the 4 main characters, Lampo, Milady, Pilou, and Meatball, they also have interesting power-ups. Lampo can detect something with his whiskers. Electricity will pop right out of his whiskers and it will pull him where he needs to go. Milady turns purple if someone is telling a big fat lie. Pilou uses her adorable charm. And Meatball, whenever he says he's hungry for spaghetti and meatballs, that means there's danger. And the show involves them going on adventures and helping friends and having fun and all that stuff. Also, what's really interesting is one of the characters, Lampo, is voiced by the same person who voiced Ash Ketchum from Pokemon. That is Sarah Nochenny. I'm not kidding. And you're probably surprised to hear about that as I am. As for the others, you have Allison Lane Rosenfield, Kiara Johnson, who I think voiced Pilu. I think Henry F. Benjamin voiced Meatball, if I'm not mistaken. But you've also got other people who did the show. So anyway, if you want to watch 44 Cats, I think it's on Netflix. I highly recommend checking it out. Well, that's number 4 on my list of Nicktoons that deserved a longer run. Let's move on to number 3. Number 3 goes to the Angry Beavers. This show was originally number 2 on the list, but I found another show that deserves to be in a higher list. So, what's the show about? It's about 2 beaver brothers named Norbert and Daggett. They get into mischievous stuff. And why is the show called Angry Beavers? Well, that's just the name of the title. They don't always get angry with each other. In Germany, they call the show Beaver Brothers, for those who didn't know. And they have situations where things go on with them or their friends or anything is possible. Nick Bakay voiced Norbert and Richard Horvitz voiced Daggett. It would be nice to hear those two do a show together. I guess the closest thing we'd get to that is if Nick Bakay appears in an episode of Hell of a Boss. And let me just say, Richard Horvitz is doing a great job as Moxie on that show. I'll talk about that show in another video, but for Angry Beavers, it had some great moments. A few of my favorite episodes I'll pretty much talk about in another video, but I loved Beaver Fever, same time last week, Bugaboo, that big round fishy thing, just to name a few. I'll do a separate video on my favorite episodes of the Angry Beavers, so stay tuned for that. But anyway, I think 4 seasons is too little in my opinion, but having a 5th season would be nice. And with Project Respooted, that would be a nice spin-off to Angry Beavers, as long as they could get Nick Bakay and Richard Horvitz voicing the two. If not, then the closest thing we'll ever get is if Nick Bakay appears on, as I said, that show Hell of a Boss. Or if he was on Has Been Hotel. That would be also nice. So that's number 3 on the list. Let's move on to number 2. Okay, number 2 goes to Rainbow Butterfly Unicorn Kitty, even though people are going to say, but that show is a ripoff of Unikitty. In some ways, yes, but there are differences between both shows. Unikitty is just a unicorn and a kitty. Felicity is also rainbow and butterfly. Yeah, I can see why some people say that. Some of the characters are similar in some ways. Miguel is similar to Puppycorn. Athena is similar to that scientist character from Unikitty whose name I kind of forgot. I'll probably write a closed captioning on screen and you'll see what her name is. And then you've got other characters. They go on adventures and you know how it goes. And Felicity can turn to rainbow form, butterfly form, and unicorn form. And they go on a wasn't all that stuff. So, well, yeah, while the show may be a Unikitty copycat in some ways, that's like comparing a Hostess Ho-Ho to a Little Debbie Swiss Cake Rolls. There are some key differences to both shows. And I find it sad that neither show is on to this day. For why Nickelodeon / Nicktoons canceled this show, was because it was too similar to Unikitty, and why Unikitty got canceled is because of Teen Titans Go. I'm going to blame that show for why Unikitty got canceled. So let's just move on to number one before I go off topic. I'm just going to say this show deserved more than just 22 episodes. And Felicity is one awesome R-book. That's short for Rainbow Butterfly Unicorn Kitty. Moving on to number one. Number one goes to Cat Scratch. What do you get if you get 3 cats who are brothers, their owner passes away, and they're left with a bunch of money? You get this show, Cat Scratch. It debuted in 2005, and it ended in 2007. Why was the show canceled? Well, the answer is because, Nickelodeon wanted to focus more on Avatar: The Last Airbender and, of course, SpongeBob SquarePants. I feel like this show should have gotten some more attention as well. I mean, it's really difficult to focus on 3 shows, so. But, I don't know. For the main cast, you got Mr. Blick, played by Wayne Knight, also known as Newman from Seinfeld. Waffle is played by the same person who plays Flea Clee from Lilo and Stitch. Whoever that actor was. Oh, yes. It was Kevin McDonald. And Rob Paulson does Gordon. Maurice LaMarche does Hovis, the butler on the show. Then you've got other characters like Human Kimberly, played by Lillian Mummy. And what happens on that show? They get into situations. One of my favorite episodes of Cat Scratch involves them going to the moon, and which was actually the first ever episode. And they turn their car into a spaceship, and they get moon rocks and try to win a cook-off. Now that is a great way to start off a show. As well as the episode, Mouse Guess, where Waffle brings objects claiming he caught a mouse, but he brought in a toaster, a stop sign, and an old lady. Oh man, I also love the King of Root Beer, and that one episode where Gordon is allergic to broccoli, and he turns into a mutant cat monster thing. Trying to think other episodes that I really like. The Slumber Party episode, the one where Waffle blows all their money, the race with that Lucky Newt, as well as the one where they divided each other. By that I mean divide the whole house to 3 sections because they all disagreed on something. Yeah, those were all good episodes. Oh man, with how many episodes this show ended after, I feel like this show deserved, more than 20 episodes. I feel like this show deserved a longer run. I mean, this show was funny. It had a lot of moments and a great cast, good writer, and the source and all that. Cat Scratch deserves a longer run, in my opinion. With all the 5 shows that I mentioned, this one deserves the most attention. And if someone actually did a one of those tribute sort of things with Gordon Waffle and Mr. Blick, that would be awesome. So anyway, that's what I think deserved a longer run. 20 episodes isn't really enough for this show. And as much as I like Avatar: The Last Airbender and have a soft spot for SpongeBob, I blame those two for having this show get canceled. But then again, you can't really focus on all 3 shows when you got so much to juggle with. So, yeah, that's just how it is. There you have it. That's my top 5 list of Nickelodeon cartoons that deserved a longer run. If you agree with me, that's awesome. If you disagree and want to state your opinion on which shows deserved a longer run, feel free to write down in the comments. Until then, this is CuteMimi25 signing off. Have a good one.